Hey, Oregon is expecting some new changes for next year and a couple other cannabis stories. Also, RIP Betty White. Love that. Dun, 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 dun. What's up, dudes? Wow. There's 14 of y'all joining me so far at this moment in time, presently. What is going on? Yeah, so RIP to Betty White. Wow. Like, somebody please go check on Dolly Parton for me, please. Like, if weed was a person, I think it would have been Betty White. You know what I mean? Like, if it had a persona. But happy thanks for joining me for the last broadcast of the year, last day, and hence the topic about like regulate like marijuana, like alcohol. Oregon's gonna be some changes, and really I'm just being clickbaity with that because how is alcohol and marijuana not regulated? How is it different, right? Like, do they regulate how many six packs I can buy or how many pints I have to walk out? Do they tell people you can't have cotton candy gin because the children? Nah, it's not. But so what's happening in Oregon? There's an article came out. There's some rule changes coming out, and it actually increases amounts and things. So I thought it's getting closer to like where cannabis is just like people realize like, oh shit, some people need a lot, some people do consume a lot, and then in the world doesn't happen. We're not walking around like stone duddards, like, oh, I just dabbed out for all day and shit. So let's read the article. Let's go through this and see what the differences and stuff. So in this KTZ.com news, OLC, which is the Oregon governing body, OLCC, makes major revisions to cannabis rules, adds hemp standards and regulations. So let's go through this. Let's read this. At a special meeting Tuesday, the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission approved significant changes for regulating the legal marijuana industry and put in place standards for regulating hemp products sold in Oregon's general marketplace. The changes in the recreational market rules package reflect the cannabis industry's rapid evolution and blurring of distinctions between hemp and marijuana product, the OLCC said in a news release. So it's not, yeah, we all know hemp and cannabis, same plant, brother, sister, first cousins. I don't know how you want to put it. Yeah, give us a like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Hey, by the way, after you watch this, dealing with me and hanging out, you should check out the Adam Dunn show. He's doing a whole, they're doing a whole New Year's thing. Right now, Cheech and Chong are on a Zoom call. They're talking, and you can interact. Not with Cheech and Chong, but you can ask questions. People are under. Danny Danko's in the chat room. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of old heads that are going to be hanging out at the Adam Dunn show area. So, but let me go on. The legal cannabis industry worked with the OLCC during the last 18 months to develop the new rules, which help streamline regulatory oversight of the day-to-day business activities, scale back violations, expand consumer choices, and establish safeguards to prevent children from accessing hemp products containing THC. Ooh. It won't be hemp, though, technically, would it? Anyways, the new rules take effect January 1st, 2022, to mañana, but the implementation of some of the regulations will extend to 2023. Okay, so we got rules, but you just can't enforce them until a fucking year later. These rules try to balance a number of different concerns: consumer health and safety, interests of small and large operators in our industry, and public safety concerns around loopholes in the Federal Farm Bill of 2018 and the illicit farm production taking place in Oregon, said the LLC's director, Steve Marks. And I think what they're referring to there is how some producers can extract, they get CBD isolate and they can convert that to THC, the Delta 9. And that's probably what's going on. That's part of the rule changes going on here. Let me scroll down, less ads, and we'll get back to this. All right. Two pieces of legislation, House Bill 3000 and Senate Bill 408, approved by the Oregon legislation 2021, drove several changes. This is pretty amazing. Like this, obviously, it's a nonpartisan issue to get a cannabis hemp policy through. That's like mind blown that you got this through before the end of the year. HB 3000 established a framework for limiting THC-laden hemp products from being sold unregulated in Oregon. So again, this is a money grab. This is them just trying to control what's coming in. SB 408, because they saw here in Washington where some people were converting Delta 9, THC, CBD to Delta 9 and then using it in edibles and whatnot. Some of the violation categories dated back to 2016 when Oregon first issued recreational marijuana license and when federal intervention was a greater concern. See, so that's the biggest thing, right? So beginning of legalization, the biggest concern is the Fed, right? Like getting raided, being harassed, the powers that you have, and this happens every year in every state, and this is a no-brainer. But it's all part of the legislation that gets laid out in the groundwork, at least in the beginning states. Now it's not so much; it should be a thing to be feared. I don't think. Going on to ensure that hemp products containing large amounts of THC don't commingle with general market products. The commission approved a rule limiting the general market sale of hemp edible products to 2 milligrams of THC in a single serving and up to 20 milligrams THC per container of hemp products. And this is hemp, folks. That rule is effective July 1st, 2022. This approach attempts to establish some of the boundaries in absence of federal guidance. Now, here comes the fun part, I believe. Another change requires that non-intoxicating artificially derived cannabinoids go through the ordinary regulatory review process required for ingredients and dietary supplements for food product for the LLC to approve in future something like CBN that would need to meet the standard for new dietary ingredient notification, generally recognized as safe. However, OLC licenses will have an 18-month period of time to bring their CBN products into compliance. Again, they're just trying to corner cannabinoid markets, right? It may not make everybody happy, but it's a pathway, and I think it solves a lot of the issues, said LLC. The rules package reflects an acknowledgement of the legal cannabis industry's ability to follow regulations and the fading threat of federal government action against the growing number of states allowing consumption of medical and adult use. So what we're seeing here is like we can shape our rules now because we don't fear the Fed, right? What up, Daisy? The commission approved a large-scale recategorization of violations, including reducing the types of violations that could result in LLC canceling a license. Good on it. So now a lot of your producers, processors have more room to do things. This is the third of our 4 steps to overhaul the violation and penalty process in 2022. The LLC will work on reducing penalties for committed violations. Okay, so here's the fun part. Under the new rules, consumers will be able to purchase 2 ounces of usable marijuana up from 1 ounce. So they doubled your amount purchased. They doubled your minimum purchase. Edible concentration limits will increase from 50 milligrams THC to 100 milligrams per package. And on after April 1st, 2022, however, single serving portions of no more than 10 milligram THC will need to be scored to make portion sizes obvious. That I don't know how they're going to work this one. So, and again, the regulating of the amounts is ridiculous. But the more that they have to keep expanding the rules and realize like the shit hasn't hit the fan. They're regulating the wrong things. They're going to learn. And then that's just kind of what we're doing with alcohol, right? Like, if any, like, is there an ABV limit on your alcohol? Is there an alcohol percentage limit? There's not. So this is why cannabis will be regulated like marijuana one day. One day it'll become one of these things that we're all acknowledging and know, And then again, I always say it's a drug ignorance here we have, right? Like, prohibition has enabled this drug ignorance where people do dumb stuff because they think, oh, well, cannabis wasn't that bad. What else is bad? Not that bad. Heroin? There's ridiculous ways that we've been lied to. So anyways, what we got going on here now, home delivery will now be allowed across city and county lines as long as local authorities approve of it. So that's a good rule too. So now we have home delivery coming in as an option. This is going to be great. This new rule will enable consumers who currently live where delivery doesn't exist to be served by a business in a city or county that already has delivery. Previously, delivery was limited only to the city or county where cannabis retailer is located. So now you can cross the city lines. This is awesome. The OLC plans to add a new section to its website so licensees and consumers are aware of any changes to delivery zones. And, if you're familiar with Oregon's a very rural area. So some of these BFE joints need a delivery. A lot of older folks, too. You have a lot of retirees. You have a lot of reasons that people don't want to leave the house. So I think this will help absorb some of that black market, some of their excess cannabis issues, because now people who in parts of the state that couldn't get it now can get it. That's what else. Additional rule changes include reducing the time and cost for licensee to report marijuana plant tagging and harvest to the state's cannabis tracking system, improving the licensee's ability to self-distribute their products. So again, see the cell tracking BS. So we did listen to the public and did make significant changes to these rules. And I want to reiterate that we have to come a long way, said Marks. And this industry established success for Oregon. We are creating a successful business market, successful consumer market. This is another big turn in the process. In anticipation of the upcoming changes, OLCC will now begin accepting label applications for marijuana edibles that exceed 50 milligrams THC in the package. Edibles that exceed 50 milligrams will not be eligible for sale until April 1st, 2022, regardless of whether the label has been approved. Interesting. So, I get the title's clickbaity, but, we're watching, and as Tom and I have said tonight, if legalization tonight, say Biden, smoked a joint and was like, well, I realized that now I was wrong all this time. The regulations and the rule processing will still take another 10 to 15 years. And that's what's happening here in Oregon, right? Like Oregon's expanding in amounts in the edibles. They realize a lot, again, we're not to the point where they realize any cap is just BS. But, the fear mongering, the save the children argument is getting less and less. And I just wanted to get this out there for the last broadcast, what you can expect next year. I got a couple news stories that we can go over too. I hope you guys are going to have a great new year. Yay! No worries, Andrew. I mean, it's the cannabis conversation. I think is one of the most important when it comes to things that we can do as a citizen, as an American, as in my country. I mean, that's why I've been promoting this goddamn end of prohibition for over half my life. It's for things like this. In the Times of Israel, Israeli freed by Belarus after a month in prison for medical cannabis in a bag. This poor lady had 2.5 grams. 2.5 grams. And she was held in prison for a month and had to get released, I imagine, through negotiations through her country, right, through Israel. So and the story says here, Renton, a lawyer, has authorization to use medical cannabis in Israel. The woman, Maya, was arrested at the airport with 2.5 grams of cannabis in her bag. So this prohibition, it's a thing that just takes the shit out of our lives. It's a thing that does not make our world better. It does not make America great. It doesn't make anything. Oh, yes, let's take a break. Because you know what? It is 4:20 somewhere. If I can find it. Breathe. All right. So I got a couple more things to talk about for the new year. If you're in Pennsylvania, came across this article. Pennsylvania Supreme Court says warrantless searches not justified by cannabis smell alone. So if you're in Pennsylvania, smell is not a crime. Hey, Happy New Year from Down Under. Hell yeah, dude. Let's check it out. So on December 29th, Pennsylvania's High Court confirmed a decision by the trial court that said the smell of cannabis cannot be the sole basis of a warrantless search. In other words, cannabis is not a crime. No, but if you're in Pennsylvania, this precedent really does help you. And I think each state, each thing, it's a different way you got to protect yourself. And that's what this comes down to, is right. What other thing do you do that you have to protect yourself? Even as a podcast or whatever, talking about this does really limit your employment potential one day. If you're not set in a way, talking about cannabis will screw your life over. I mean, really. I mean, what other cause out there can really hinder your acceleration in life, right? Like, if you fight against breast cancer, is that going to be used against you in an interview? Well, it says here that you talked about legalization for, it can fuck your life over, and it has. It presently is. So I don't know if you follow the blacklist. I know some of our viewers have issues with them, But actually, they put out a lot of good shit on their Instagram recently that I've been watching. A lot of raids. So, like in the early days when I started writing, um, the J Smoker, one of the guys behind the Weblog, he felt it was like bad karma, bad juju to talk about all the bad shit that happens with prohibition. But for me, as citizen activists, I always thought like if you want a champion, and everybody's innocent, right? This is the horrendous thing that's happening in our country every day. Like you don't sit by and watch a rape happen. You don't sit by and watch a murder happen, and that's what's happening every day to all these people. So, this Gaffney business owner, wife arrested after deputy sees 200 sees 400 marijuana edibles. And from what I've heard, they're still incarcerated right now, pending bail. But point oh 0.03. So the sheriff office said narcotics officer recovered evidence that the owner was buying empty bags and then placing his own marijuana in the bags and putting them homemade labels and packages to indicate the king. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything devious, but the point is cannabis is not a crime. So wherever this Cherokee County Detention Center, this is where they're at right now. Stephen and Serena. In South Carolina. There we go. My bad. So South Carolina, these people's lives are now ruined because of prohibition. And again, yeah, follow the blacklist if you are interested in, like, and hopefully people will champion and rally behind them, and that can help make the difference. Now, that's stuff I used to do. That's stuff I've done, where I've singled out like Joe Grumbrine or people that who died behind bars. I've helped people, and it gets tiring. There's a lot of fucking people to help, but if you can do something, if you can reach out, if you can share their story, do it. And one last thing before the new year ends, I got one more story that's going to get me all kinds of friends here, all kinds of little. Let's see who I can. What do you call it? Some say signal virtualing. Others say they're snowflakes. They're tender. I don't know what to say, but there was this article that came out in Reuters. Anti-vax community blasts Trump after pro-shot comments. So we are pro-shot here. Get the vaccine. Let's all get on the same page, because that's how we go forward in society, man. I'm so over wearing a mask and seeing reports of people like spontaneously getting sick, and if the greater we're on the same page, there's a reason why we got rid of goddamn smallpox. Just whatever. But this article, so this about, because Trump came out pro-vaccine, was like, it works and shit, like, duh. But we go to the end now here. This guy doesn't make us sound too good. So let's see if we can find it. So I just had to read it, and then this was what caught my eye. So here's a quote: "I no longer can support him." Daniel McLean, 42, who works in the cannabis industry in Oregon, said in an interview. Like, how do they just pick this one guy up in general to get an opinion, and really it just represents ignorance, right? So, get a shot, man. We're so over this shit. We need to get on. If we had proper leadership in the beginning, we'd be done with this shit. But until then, I mean, shit. Even I don't know. I got nothing. I wish you a happy new year. I wish you success. I wish legalization happens in your state, and I hope you only smoke good weed and have a good new year. See you guys Wednesday, most likely. Or wait, what's today's day? Shit, I don't even know. I'm still blending in and everything. Oh yeah, maybe Sunday. See you guys.